I'm in the playground if it used to be the school at Woodhead, or as somebody said to me the other day, Timmertap Academy. I've many happy memories of this place, and one of the highlights of the year was the school picnic. So let's go back in time and relive that never-to-be-forgotten day.
It was a day we thought would never come. We'd been waiting on 't for weeks. We all got fair excited and nearly wet were bricks. But like anything else, if you're patient, it eventually come round. The day o' this school picnic to Fraserburgh town. Twa double-decker buses, I mind they were painted red. With Sutherland's name on the sides, they come for Peterhead. They turned in Robertson's farm close, and then get down the brae, to pick us up outside the squeal, to start this longed-for day. We drove for miles or so it seemed. Some of the roads were rough, but at long last we all sat up. We'd come in view o' the broch. Kirk steeples in a sunny day, nae doubt we'd get a tan, but the thing that stands out in memory was the miles and miles o' sand. The sea was blue, the wind was doon, this was gone to the rear. Some aller loons, gay nickums, waded into the water, bare. They got her out for the teacher, but said they did it for a laugh, for it wasn't every day they got the chance to hear a wash with a thing off. Ice cream, the like we'd never seen, was enough to keep us happy. A chocolate slider for tuppence, or maybe a halfpenny copy. Bottles of ale and candy floss, along with licorice steps. And for the first time in our lives, a muckle bag of chips. There was a lad waded in our far and was pulled out just in time. Mächtig, for a scare got up, I can tell you it wasn't fine. He hid the between up to the shops and got a set of brand new clothes. He's hated water ever since, and only washes inst the 2 days. But soon the sun was setting and we gathered in about. A grand day by the seaside, oh that there's little doubt. Tired by the sea, the sand and the sun, when the bus we fell asleep, and dreamt of a day we'd never forget, and memories we'd aye keep. But little did we ken, our routine was to be the last. The war was round the corner, seaside picnics a thing of the past. Nae buses, nae beaches, nae cafes or wheat sarks. Our picnics fae new on were to be in our visits parks. It was a bit different, but we hadn't far to gang. We ran races by the dozen, some short and some gay long. We played football with a rubber ball, and for goalposts just hit bonnets. And at the finish we got a paper bag with sausage rolls and doughnuts. So thinking back to the days of yore when we enjoyed the fun, be it three-legged races in Biscuit Park or Fraserburgh sea and sun. Far are you new, the loons and quines that with me did that day share? Just gi'e a shout and let me ken, wherever you are, out there.
Well, here I am with the Culsh Monument looking over my shoulder. A old lad, when asked if he liked my earlier video, said in no uncertain terms, no, new deer wasn't in it. Well, I'm going to rectify that right now. And for good measure, I'm going to include Maud as well. As we gang round and about, I hope you'll enjoy my tune, The Beauties o' Buchan.
Now, we all ken what this is. It's a neep. A day I was in a supermarket when I saw, on a shelf, this white-faced creature all bonny washed and rowed in cellophane looking gay sorry for itself. I thought to myself, I wonder what its story would be if it could speak. Well, it could have been something like this. I am a neep, a muckle neep. I was eens just a seed. But now I've grown, as you can see. I'm a Swede, or is a Swede. I lay in the drill just under the grun. I was in amongst a big crowd. But I bet you can guess that it's nae ony fun, kennin' you're about to be hewed. My luck it was in, I passed the big test, so I dug my heels in and was rooted. Out a' the long simmer I gave him my best, and bonny green shaws I seen sprouted. As winter draws near and the grun gets a' soggy, I ken that I'm up for the chop. I'm a clean firm neep, aye, nae a bit foggy, just the kind that they like in the shop. They're comin' to puma, that's a' that I'm needin', then I'm thrown heed first in the cart. I'm chippet and bruised, if I'd bleed I'd be bleedin', it's enough to break onybody's heart. I'm a favourite in soup and with haggis and bra, after a dinner of me you'll feel stoppit. Try me grated or diced or maybe just raw, but ye hinna live till you've tasted me choppit. I used to be happy just feeding the kye, but now it's nae the same fun. Cellophane wrapped in supermarkets I lie, costing the wifeys a fortune per pun. But folk in the country dinna hae the same feelin', they wait until it gets dark, and look for a hole in the pyket we are peelin', or the nearest farmer's park. They say dinna be daft and dinna be feel, come on and nae be a dreep. Fin you get in for nothing, strecht out of the drill, there's nae why you pay that for a neep. So that is my story, it micht ring a bell, I hope it hasna made you sleep. But fin you think o't, there's nae much to tell, especially if you're just a big neep.
Another thing we did when we were loons, afore the advent of TV or quines, was to gang for a bike run on a Sunday. Sometimes we get to places that at that time were hine awa, like Rothay or Fisherford or Kilsalmond. At other times we set off for the coast. So jump on your bike and come with us on our Sunday bike run.
On Sundays in the summer, we usually ged for a run. It kept us out of mischief and aye we had grand fun. Sometimes we pedalled on for miles and files nae very far, for our Sunday run was in Raleigh bikes, nae for us the luxury o' a car. The tyres were pumped up and the chain gin a licky a while, our clips were on and off we set to travel mony a mile. A sunny day with the wind in your back canna a wheel be beat, but just in case o' a squally sure, we'd wear oilskins aneath the seat. So off we set without a plan, we just followed our ain nose, and afore we kent it, ahead o' us the prop o' Icy rose. A bonny place to hae a look, but we hadna time to spare, and pedalled on to Tarves wi' its bonny 3-line square. The Aberdeen Arms and the library stand nae far apart. The squeal, the kirk and the bowling club mak Tarves look gey smart. Then off we furled down the hill, heading for our next port o' call, Pitmedden wi' its muckle house and its knockie village hall. We had a reekie round the place and a look at the Fyvie park, the tennis courts, the garage for local folk get work. But hunger pangs soon took their toll, but we couldna see a baker's, and headed for a fly cup for our all friends at Green Acres. Far next was a shout as we ins mere set off, head down and travelling at speed. Keep to the side roads aye was the plan, and leave to the lad in the lead. Through fine open country and round some gey nooks, as I break it and scored my hen tire. We'd been on the road for hours so it seemed, and my backside was feeling on fire. But just as I was beginning to pech, we come over the brow o' a hill, and down a big brae, a steep, steeny brae, the secht made my all heart stand still. Collieston was there in front of my een, wi' its bay, its rocks and the sea. A picture of beauty, if ever there was, that to this day has never left me. The harbour lay still wi' a cobble or twa, its history steeped in the shingle. The caves for the pirates hid a' their loot, the stories would mak your spine tingle. The Speldons so famous and the Gweed fisher folk brought memories o' times that had been. And if your luck's in on a fine summer's day, in the distance you can see Aberdeen. But seeing it was time for us to move on and head for the top of the brae, and afore you could blink, down the hill we free-wheeled into Cruden Bay. The golf course with its rolling dunes, the greens like velvet clout, and would you believe, in Cruden Bay, a Chinese carry out. There's hotels that cater for golfers, the tourists and the likes, but there wasna a place that I could see for a puckle loons on Raleigh bikes. So we headed out the brig and stumped through the sand. We sweated, pecht and splutered, it fairly was hard gone. We sat there with our socks off and paddled in the water. We ate our peace and drank our ale and had a recht weed natter. The sun shone down, we lapped it up, a topper o' a day. We thought we were in paradise, nae just in Cruden Bay. But the sun began to sink recht down ahin the grassy banks, so socks gaed on and pints were tied, nae ony time for pranks. Gae hippet for hay and sat a file, we hobbled on the road, and then our first disaster struck, a flat tire begode. Fizz gaed the air out of the tube and the tire was down to the rim. The Sunday calm was broken, swear words and a face gae grim. But seeing the bike was upside down, mony hands to the job did jump, wi' a handy tin o' patchin and a gweed-gone bicycle thump. So, sorted out, we a set off a bitty weary kine. The day'd been long but worth it, a day that we would mine. Our weary legs kept cranking, but we gathered strength anew, as the landmark we'd been looking for come slowly into view. The kirk o' Millbrex a welcome, its outline like a ghost, but here at last our straggly lot, and secht o' the winning post. A cheerio, a laugh, a joke, forget the morn's Monday. Look forward to the week ahead, and to we're run next Sunday.
The next tune was composed by me in honour of the veterans of the Royal British Legion, and it wouldn't surprise you to ken that I've called it the Veterans' March. Fed better tune could you hae to keep me company as we march round the place we're going to visit next, the capital of the Geary, the one and only Inverurie. So, shooters back, and off we set. Now, we're at the Hawks at Turriff. No, not for the Turriff show, but to the Bothy ballad contest held every year on the day of the Turriff and District Pipe Band contest. It's a great day out and a grand opportunity to keep the old traditions going. There's a chance that you'll maybe recognise a twa folk, so if you do, be sure and give them a wave.
A Bothy ballad contest was held the other day. Contestants gathered early from the north down to the Tay. A motley crew of country folk would darna ask their age, ready again to do battle upon the Bothy stage. Some had a dram or even twa to give them extra muscle. Ian walked his dog and noon again let out a nervous fussle. They joked about among themselves, light-hearted to wait their turn, but in aneath the outward calm their stomachs were on a churn. The draw for the order of appearance was made, and soon they learned their fate. Some were on hour early, and others fine pleased to be late. They were a bit cagey about the songs they were to sing, just in case the other lads threw the same bonnet in the ring. New Nicky Tom's got laldy, and so did Princey and Jean. The buchan Bobby on his beat long seen in Aberdeen. Generations of change, and new to some was met with cocket lug, and all our hands with kenning looks gie the snoot to their bonnet a tug. McGinty wi' his meal and ale, he fairly got his say. The bonny lass of Fyvie and that favourite Achy Bray. Neeps to pluck and Mormon Bray sung wheel by man and loon. Then last of all we finished off, can end by Sleepy Tune. A lad forgot his words and gid a splucher o' a host. Shuffled his feet, read out his throat and said, "Oh God, I'm lost." He thocht a while, hummed 2 or 3 lines, it didn't put him off. Then off he sat and said, "Here goes," at least he got a laugh. 'Twas fine to see a youngster turning up to do his bet, and 2 young slips of lasses to a drumdelgie off a strip. It gives hope that our tradition will aye be carried on, when famous names for the present day have long since gone. The judges set a wooden-faced making notice writing down. The why folks stood or work at their hands, or did they keep to the tune? Projection o' the vocal cords was high up on their list. Wi' beady een they a sat there wasna much they missed. After it seemed an eternity, the judges shut their book. The champion chiels a stood around, some couldna thole to look. The winner, as he took the cup, held high, a happy man. The others, as is their way, come round to shake his hand. But singing Bothy ballads is nae about winning a cup. It's the honest satisfaction of cheering folkies up. To keep the old tradition, aye, keep it going long. There's nothing else to beat it, a recht guid Bothy song.
Think o' Huntley and you think o' its castle, and here I am at that famous outpost. But there's more to Huntley than the castle, as you'll see, as we hae a stravaig through Huntley too.
Come up the glens of Foudland and reach the brew of the hill, and lying there afore ye, Strathbogie sitting still. A patterned like a patchwork quilt that's there for a to see, and cowering down, near out a secht, the tune o' Huntley. The bypass takes you to a roundabout, and if you're feeling like something to eat, there's a garden centre and restaurant famous for its mate. It is a thing there for your garden, as well as for your inwardly needs. Plates of mince and tatties, and squirters for killing your weeds. Then bend the road a bit if it do come to new. It's Dean's a Huntley shortbread, hand-bake it to melt in your moo. Their factory shop sells a thing fae ornaments to fleeces, but most of all they're famous for their hame-made buttery pieces. There's R.B. Farcher's workshops that's never out of the news, making hooses and porta cabins, and even porta loos. A far cry for the days of yore with Robbie selling sticks, but I suppose it's nae surprise he was up to a' the tricks. Into the square we wander wi' its 2 gay bra hotels, the post office and Brander's library, and the usual Cruikshank sales. The Duke of Richmond statue would spare us stunning steens. A bonny place, there's little doubt, a place to take your friends. Then off we head for Christie Park and the Fitba teams of bra. They've been the champions o' the league, they've done it, seen it, Joe Harper and Doug Rugby are names that come to hand, but I'd better nae say ony mair. Keith folk will say I'm blan. Castle Park's a bonny for the cricket club I play. There's only a big drawback, they need a recht fine day. But when the sun shines down on them, the lads are fairly tricket, and flee about like folk in mad, trying to tack a wicket. For golfers there is just a place, and that's the Cooper Park. They play for early in the morning until it is pitch dark. They strive to hit that little bar fae tee recht on to green, and when they get a hole in one, they're fairly over the mean. The castle stands afore us with its history fae Duncan and Bruce. A bit a run down at times in the past, but now it's looking gay spruce. A shallow a place that it used to be, when it housed the royalty and their brood. And like all folkies that fa on hard times, all it can do now is to try and look prude. And so we've reached the Devon with its waters shining bright, sparkling in the sun by day and twinkling by the moon at night. The water rippling over the steams, the trees are fresh and green. Strathbogie at its very best, nae better can be seen. The Royal Oak still is on the go, it has been so for years. It's selt its share of drammies along with a fair puckle beers. The rose and thistle, it's their tea, and so's the famous All Pit, for young and all have gathered to hae a draw and a spit. Forbes Rayburn, the butcher, his shop aye neat and clean, selling only the best of beef in the shire o' Aberdeen. And the place that's aye on the wireless, telling een and a' that they are the local stockists who a funny foreign named saw. We've reached the fit of Bogie Street and the water catches our ee. The railway station a painted brecht is a treat for a' to see. Then round the Neuk and through the brig we keep going on our way, and leave brave Huntley far ahin, but we'll leave it wi' a sigh. For Huntley is a bonny place, this we have plainly seen, with its history of the Gordons, the Shilling and Bonnie Jean, the Devon and the Bogie, its castle and its square, but best o' a' are the couthie folk, for mak you welcome there.
Our next tune is the Craibstone Waltz, which I composed last year for a couple hame on holiday from New Zealand. They liked the tune, but I'm sure they'll like the tune plus the scenery even better. This is followed by a well-deserved tribute to my brother Charlie, who died earlier this year. He appeared in the last video and was looking awfully for it to be in Perth of this scene. Well, through the wonders of modern technology, his wish has been granted, as you'll see as you listen to the Chelsea Waltz. Well, we've seen the Devon and the Bogey, and now it's the turn of the Don. I'm sure you'll enjoy the trip down the water as we follow our friend for the hills to the sea. Mind and watch for your gun. I wouldn't like only you to fall in as we gang down by the Don.
Awa in the hills the Don springs to life, on its long road down to the sea. Strathdown it passes, nae much more than a burn, sign Bellabeg, Towie and Glenkindy. Gathering speed and girth as wheel, it reaches Afford's Vale. The peaty water rippling roch, twitching like a shelty's tail. Paradise wed and through the Lord's throat, bidding farewell to Money Musk. A glorious sight at ony time, nae better than through the trees at dusk. It's on nodding terms we came and skirts round Benahee. Burn Hervey and Manar come next, sign on to Inverurie. Drawn like a magnet it turns recht at the port, as though it was saying there's nothing else for't. He doon it keeps going through fine Fairman country, bypassing Kintour, Kinadie and Fintry. Sign nae far for dice, for its waters run deep. It pays its respects to the folk that lie asleep. It seems to slow down and had its ain breath, fine we'll kenning that even old enemies are united in death. It leaves them alone in solitude and peace, seeing recht awa that this is their special place. On tiptoe it travels through the bonny green sward, feeling proud o' being part of the scene at this historic kirkyard. Then off at a canter down to Park Hill, to face the hazards o' mair than a paper mill. Parsley then all leafy with green shrub and twig, then gliding so smoothly through the famous Bulgownie Brig. It cocks a snout at the traffic, making its way through the town, doing its best to ignore the rick, the fumes, as well as the soon. Then through the last hurdle to the sand-streaked banks, gurgling to its sail, a watery prayer, full o' thanks. It meets its demise without ony fear. The waters we've followed will soon disappear, but memories for a there'll lie plenty be, as it's swallowed in a gulp by the grey North Sea. Although the Don starts out for nothing and finishes up with just the same, the miles of water in between have been proved to share its name. But nature, being fit it is, has aye the upper hand. And fin you come to think o't, it's the very same for man.
Many of the folk watching this video were, like me, brought up during the war. I'm sure a fair few will identify with this nostalgic look back to a time that couldn't have been easy for the grown-ups. Thankfully, we were our young to appreciate just how serious the situation was at the time. But whatever your age, I hope you enjoy a wartime bairn or But I'd Never Seen a Banana.
I was alone at the time of the war, but hadna a clue if it was gone on afar. You heard Churchill on the wireless, he fairly took a trick. And then there was Hitler, with a moustache and a coo's lick, but I'd never seen a banana. We had ration books, utility clays and BUs for loaf, evacuees for Glasgow, some were awful tough. The LDV was mustered with badges on their arm, drawn for the old and decrepit, for Cotterhouse to Firm, but I'd never seen a banana. There was blackouts and fightouts and gas masks in a box. There was Rommel, kent better as the wily desert fox. Montgomery with his Tammy and his cheap recht rover. Vera Lynn was aye singing about the fight cliffs of Dover. But I'd never seen a banana. Then soldiers came from Norway skiing o'er the snaw. Fae Poland too they joined us, fae their country forced awa. Battle-scarred and weary fae places far, far flung. But oh my God, they struggled to catch the Doric tongue. But I'd never seen a banana. The women folk kept knitting comforts for the troops, socks and balaclavas, hooses visited wick aboot, and though they aye looked cheery and didna hae a care, their thoughts were we their allerloons, some way ower there. But I'd never seen a banana. The tide had turned her, so they said, and so it was to prove. El Alamein, Benghazi, the desert rats were on the move. Prisoners of war at Stuartfield, with all the diamonds on their clays, walking up in the morning to a view o' Mormon breeze. But I'd never seen a banana. They were carted out to firms on Lake Grun and on High, but how and neeps fair bet them, they didna ken the why. Hurston knew was different, a grand stucker was German Tom, and at that time I shared a drill with an Italian lad for Rome, but I'd never seen a banana. D-Day was next, the race was on to reach the mighty Rhine, and here was I, growing up through this historic time. I'd missed a lot, and yet you ken, there's memories I wouldn't miss. The ARP, Lord Ha-Ha, and best of all, my first kiss. But I'd still never seen a banana. VE Day came and then VJ with bonfires and celebrations. The war was over, it was a by, peace between the nations. And there on the table I saw them, a bunch of yalla claws. I couldn't wait to grab them and stick them in my jaws. I peeled the skin excited, full of expectation. A muckle bite, but mechty me, what a consternation. For after years of waiting for my dream fruit for the Bahamas, I've just found out I hate 'em. I canna stand bananas.
There's a well-kent Bothy ballad called Mensa Pitmedden, and that's where I am at this moment. But Mensa Pitmedden is only one of the bonny places on the banks of the Devon, and we're going to show you one or two more as we take you on a musical trip along bonny Devon side. Although it was more usual for toonsers to come out to the country for their summer holidays, it wasn't unknown for a country loon to be sent into Aberdeen to bide with an auntie for a week. Such was the fate of a loon you maybe can guess for, and this is a story he has to tell.
The summer holiday. At holiday time in the summer, I was sent away to the toon. To bide a week with an auntie, I was her favourite loon. My feet and my neck were scrubbed fine, and my nails were clipped clean, and off I set an hour the bus for a Newton to Aberdeen. We travelled miles through the countryside until we come to Dice, Steenywood, Bankhead and Bucksburn. I sat there in a trice. Woodside was next, and it was only then I thought, this is nae laugh. Nobody told me when I got on, for about I was supposed to get off. But as the bus got on its way, driving deeper into the town, it pulled up at a bus stop, and I heard somebody say, "Have ye a country loon?" My Auntie Jess and her tunes her why had been looking out for me. She'd fairly got me off the hook. I hadn't kent fit to dee. She said, "No, I've got nothing planned. There's sick a lot to see. We'll start our travels in the afternoon, down by the Brigade, and take a walk right up the brae and see a bonny view. As good as ony in the country, my lad, that's fit I'm telling you." Then off we set back down the hill and into Bothy Park. On the boat and pond and on the shoots we fairly made our mark. The winter gardens a splash of colour, yellow, brown and red. Nay, only like our garden at home, you couldn't see a weed. There was flowers of a description as far as the eye could see. I thought to myself, I'd have been in my element if I had been a bee. All over the place they were growing, the reef, the flare, and in mony a little dish. And swimming about in a watery hole was a puckle-coloured fish. Then, over the brig to Torry, I followed my Auntie Jess, up by the Torry battery and round by Girdle Ness. The licht who stands a hick and fight, looking out towards the sea. It's nae a sicht you see every day, if you're a country loon like me. Then, looking down in the harbour, 'twas there for a to see. That little place called Fyvie, or as some folk say, Foot D. But fast caring for its cod, or foo it's got its name. When the fisher lads pass by their door, they've ance again reached hame. The beach was looking bonny, with stretch of golden sand, and mony a courting couple were walking hand in hand. 2 or 3 hardy souls had ventured in the water, but looking at them with their dookers on, didn't half make my teeth chatter. The castle gate with its market cross was next to catch my een. Then I was whisked without a word through the market to the green. This took me hame, there's little doubt, for stack it up in heaps. Tatties by the bagful, nae to mention carrots, cabbages and neeps. Ae nicht we get to the theatre, and did we hae a ball. It fairly opened my een up, nae like our local hall. There was seats that tippet up and curtains that slid down, different coloured spotlights and quadraphonic soon. The history o' the Gordon Highlanders was brought recht back to me, when to the Regimental Museum I next was teen to see. Our local loons had fought their battles in countries near and far, and served the cause, I served recht weel, in time o' peace and war. Up to Hazelhead we ged, I could have been there for days, for Auntie Jess was nasty kind, she looked at me in the maze. And then as we came out again, we stood with heads bowed down, at the Piper Alpha Memorial, with peace and roses a' round. But now the week has come to an end, there's been sick a lot to see. My Auntie Jess has done me proud, she gets on fine with me. She's fed me like a toonser on things bocht for the chipper, and Goddy's sake on Sunday morning, she tried me wi' a kipper. But now the time has come to head eens meer back out the road. I'm getting fair excited to see my old boat. Now dinna get me wrong, my friends, I've nothing against the tune, but it's grand to be back in the country, for I'm mere o' a country loon.
Earlier we had the Veterans' March. Alas, time is wearing on and the ranks of the unsung heroes of the last war are thinning out. Many ex-servicemen have memories that they are reluctant to share. And with that in mind, I thought that they, and you, would appreciate this wee story I've entitled Grandad's Biscuit Tin.
When you asked our old Grandad, what did he do at the time of the war? He just shrugged his shoulders and mumbled, nothing much at all. He was aye half thrawn to speak about it. In fact, you had to beg. And he never did tell us fit why he got yon muckle scar down the back of his leg. But most times he just sat there keeping to himself. A far awa look, he was dreaming about it, you could tell. But ae day, unexpected, when Aberdeen was awa and him and me were left ahin, he said, "Now laddie, the time has come to share with you the secrets o' my biscuit tin." He lifted the tin off the table and put it onto his knee, syne tug it off the lid so's that we both could see. I sat there with my Grandad as he took me by the hand, and saw, I for the first time, a different old man. twa metal desks tied together with twine. His name and his number, you could still read them fine. A pay book all wrinkled with brown tattered edges, and a picture of a tank trying nae to be seen in St. Valerie's hedges. A snapshot of his platoon teen aneath a great muckle birk, a steen and a baggy a sand for the beach at Dunkirk. A jagged bit of metal that had been teen out to his knee. Aye, he said, that was the day they often nearly got me. A scorched bit of a tartan, a reminder of a pal that didn't come back. A cutting for a paper saying, troops repulse, German attack. Twa silver buttons, for a lad on the other side he was forced to shoot down. Aye, he said, it was either him or me, yet he was some mother's loon. A picture of a lassie he'd kept close till his heart, for a' the years he was awa he never ance did pert. A withered flower he'd got for a quine, the day they drove through to Brook. It had lain in the tin since his the mob, in atween the pages o' a book. He looked at me and then he said, I dinna ken if I should break my rule. Syne slowly he reached for it, and took out a wad o' cotton wool. He pulled the cotton wool apart, and there for's baith to see a medal wi' its ribbons, a medal for gallantry. We sat there looking at it, and he said, You're the only een to ken. So let's baith keep a secret atween us men. Then everything was put back in place, and the lid was shut wi' a sigh. Sitting there, you could touch the ears as they rolled quietly by. So, when you ask a soldier, what did he do at the time of the war? Dinna be taen aback if, like my Grandad, he says, nothing much at all. But if the truth was coming out, they all have their secrets to tell, but maist are like my Grandad, and keep them to their sale.
It surprised me greatly the number of letters and emails I was sent by North East folk from all over the world, telling me how much my last video had meant to them. Colin Grant in Toronto said it had gone round his heart like a hairy worm. Now that is praise indeed. So with that in mind, and especially for all you folk that are hine awa, I've composed Thoughts o' Hame.
I've been going out and about entertaining folk for as long as I can mind. And it aye surprises me how many folk think that you just turn up in the neck, do your stuff, and then gang away home again. Nothing could be further from the truth, as you'll soon find out in the tribulations of an entertainer. For more years than I care to mind, I've travelled far and wide, playing to awe and sundry, for the mairns the yogi side. Folk think it's half easy, but little do they ken. There's a lot of hidden work goes on, I've got to mark that plain. I sit at home and claw my head, it fairly takes up time. Some days the pen just winna stop, but files things dinna rhyme. You walk about and speak to yourself, some folk would think you're daft. I've even climbed the Ramsay ladder to get inspiration in the loft. The bookings come in money a shape by letter and by phone. Organisations of our description, fae John's Haven to Foggy Loan. Just for an hour, that's long enough, I just thought I would mention. I dinna expect you'll hae a charge, nay you, with your bobby's pension. You have to make sure the programme is half a wheel planned out. For some folk are easy going, and others look down their snoot. If it gets a laugh at a place, gets met with looks of doer, and there's usually one damned wifey with a face that's long and sour. So off I set out once again to meet the local folk, to play a tune, read out a rhyme or tell another joke. The venue can be anyway, in schools or pensioners' clubs, sheltered housing and draughty halls, but I draw the line at pubs. The rural is a favourite, their competitions I have to judge. It can be strawberry jam or slogans or sometimes sticky fudge. But I mark this stipulation and I treat them all the same. The results are not to be announced until I'm halfway home. I've been to Turriff often to dice and ale and tea, trailed out as far as Boindley and to Bankery by the Dee. There is a place, I'll tell you, that I have never been. I'm still waiting for an invite to Balmoral for the Queen. I've tackled Toonsers folkies from Northfield to Garthdee, folk from Cootercullen and the back of Benahee, the Town Hall at Inverurie, the senior citizens at Camehill, and would you believe I've even been on the stage at the All Meal Mill. New nursing homes can be dodgy and can fairly put you under a strain. All Mary shot straight for the shoulder and said, "Oh no, it's nae you again." She didn't like what I was wearing and wasn't slow to remark. "Another thing, when you come here, you should put on a decent sark." Then the other week, this country chiel, he seemed a friendly creature. So I asked if he was enjoying the show. "Nae bad," he said, "but I have heard better." You're never sure if it's going to be like cards dealt for a pack. But there's a way of kenning you've won, when they say, "New hist you back." And then there is this half a thing that turns my nerves to shreds. Recording in a studio, it's one of my greatest dreads. Sitting there a twitching, my fingers steam cold with fear. But funny things over both my lugs, it's worse than the dentist's cheer. The switches are a twiddled and the countdown starts gay slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it's off we go. Afore I can for about a arm, I'm told that it's a bye. With soaking sark and beating heart, I just let out a sigh. We listen to the playback, it sounds all right to me. We're in it back and through again, making sure that it'll do. So when you're watching the video, sitting at home without worry or care, just give some thought to peer all me and the tribulations I've had to bear. But long may it continue, long may the phone ring clear, and wifey say, "Oh Sandy, a booking for next year." Just come and do your usual with stories, jigs and reels, for there's little doubt you do more good than all the doctor's pills. So can I say just thank you to all you folk out there for allowing me to share your company, your warmth and much more. If I have brightened up your day or made you laugh or smile, then that for me is all I wint. It's made it all worthwhile.
Well, we've come to the end of the road once again. Hopefully there's been a few smiles and even a tear or two as we've journeyed here, there and our way. I'd like to leave you now with a few lines which, along with the scenery, typifies for me what the northeast is all about. I hope you've enjoyed our time together and that this final sequence will bide with you for a long time to come.
That's it, Dean and Fyvie, like the phases of the mean. We've trailed out over the countryside and into Aberdeen. The hills have made us welcome and the waters have run through, but there's 2 or 3 other little things I'd like to show you new. A hoosie sitting on its ain, weel sheltered for the wind. As bonny a setting as ever you'll see, it leaves time far ahin. The garden neat and tidy with 2 or 3 bumblebees, and mountain guard, ourin and a battalion of bonny trees. Syne heading back to the rocky coast, looking out to the way of the sea, a little place weel out of the way, that's far it likes to be. For years it stood wi' its head held proud, facing the storms, the wind and the call. Some folk would ca' it Whinny Fold, and others Finny Foul. I'll leave you noo wi' a sechts a rare, it's een ye canna lick. A pot of broth ower an open fire, wi' a naughty, rosety stick. So come on, sit ye down wi' us, grab up a muckle speen. For if you're nae quick off the mark, the broth, like our time together, will soon be deen.